What is up, everyone? In this video today, I want to share with you this little eye look that I created today using the Juvia's Place the Violets palette. I was wanting to get this for a while now, but it keeps selling out really quickly, which is super awesome, and I'm so happy for Juvia's Place that it is selling out, but it's a commodity. It's a hot commodity, and you got to get on it if this is something that you are interested in. So I will leave the links down below for you guys to be able to shop that either through Juvia's Place or Ulta's website. Now, if you aren't familiar with the brand Juvia's Place, it is a Black-owned makeup company, and they have some gorgeous eyeshadow palettes that blend so beautifully. Some of them have so much pigment, and they also come at a little bit more of affordable price point. This palette right here retails for $14, and there's always coupons out there as well to bring down that price point, and they are actually sold at Ulta and in their drugstore section at Ulta. Now, I want to shout out to Juvia's Place right now because they are running a code that I'll leave down in the description box that gives you 25% off, and then also 25% of the proceeds are going to two different organizations in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, I don't know how long that's running for and everything, so I'll leave everything down in the description box. And I want to take this moment really briefly to kind of talk to you guys about everything that's been going on. Now, you may or may not have noticed, but I have not been posting on YouTube for the last week or so, and instead I've been focusing all of my energy into my Instagram and my Instagram stories, trying to learn myself, trying to educate. I'm constantly learning and growing, and I'm also trying to share as much information as possible with anybody who is willing to listen over there on my Instagram stories to help spread awareness, to help stop the act of racism, whether intentional or unintentional, so that we can put an end to these injustices that have been going on for far too long. Some of the resources I will be linking is different ways that you can educate yourself as well, and then some petitions that need immediate action, immediate signatures to hopefully cause some long-lasting immediate change. I will be linking some places that you can donate if you want to speak with your dollars, but do not forget that what is going on with your voice and your words within your family, within your community, the way you treat people out in the grocery stores and everything can make a huge impact and a huge difference and a step towards positive change. Black lives do matter. If you feel like you're confused about this whole movement and everything that's been going on and you want to instantly say, well, all lives matter, then I want to say to you, of course all lives matter, but Black lives are the ones that have been suffering these injustices for far too long, and I challenge you to educate yourself on the movement, everything that's been happening. One other thing I'm going to be leaving down in the description box is a link to register to vote. If you are eligible to vote within the United States or whichever country that you are in that allows for voting, please register to vote and try your best to be as informed as you can before going to the polls on whatever voting day. And that goes for things other than just the presidential election. Be prepared, be ready for propositions that go up for your local and your state government. It is so important that we are using our voice, not only with our dollars, not only to be kind to each other, but using your voice to vote. Getting that vote out there. Don't discredit propositions that are going up. Don't discredit local governments and say, I don't care, because it does matter and you need to care. I know I'm coming across as upset, but it's because I am. This is it's heartbreaking that we can treat people differently because of what they were born into. We do not get to choose where we are born, on what side of the border we are born, and which body we are born into. That's all random, and it is beautiful, and it is a beautiful thing that should be embraced and celebrated. So links are down in the description box, and I want to jump into this video and just show you guys how gorgeous this palette is and how pretty it is, and show you how I created this look. And if you would like to see that too, then all you need to do now is keep on watching. Boop. All right, so to start off, I already primed my eyes. Today I used I can never find anything, the e.l.f. Camo concealer. This is just the original one that I use because it's a little bit more matte, so it works a little bit better as an eye base. And then I set right underneath my eyebrows with the Milani Gilded Desires, and it's this base shade, but whatever base shade that you have on hand, you can use that. So now I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, and then I'm gonna take it right into the inner corner right here, and I'm gonna be buffing out that area, give it a nice little blend. This is like my favorite purple tone. I absolutely love tones like these, and they are pretty hard to find in purple palettes for some reason. The closest one that I can think of is the Norvina Mini Volume 1. That one has a similar shade to it. That one is like a pigment palette though, a pressed pigment palette. So those ones are a little bit different to work with. This one's actually an eyeshadow palette. So for some, that's a little bit easier to work with than the actual pigments. So the formula on this palette would be a little bit different than something like that. It might be more user-friendly if you don't like working with pigments. This one's a little bit softer to work with, but it's all personal preference when it comes to that, really. I'm gonna blend that right to the middle of my crease right there. Then I'm taking my blending brush from Sigma. This is the E40, and just making sure that's very buffed and blended. Not even re-dipping, just blending out that edge. Now I'm going to be using my same brushes while dipping into this deep plum shade, and I'm focusing on the outer corner now, and I'll be blending into that light violet shade. This isn't plum. I don't know why I said plum, but I guess this is like an actual black plum. That's what I think of when I see this. Oh man, I haven't had like a really good plum in so long. Off topic, but I'm just saying. Anyways, back to blending, and make sure that you blend those two shades together. You might have to go back and forth to get that nice blend between the two shades. It'll be worth it. It'll be so pretty. Now I'm going back to that fluffy Sigma brush, and I'm just blending that out. But this time I am dipping back into the powder and then just tapping off any kind of excess so it's not too much going on my brush. Now that that's all blended out, I'm gonna go back in with that deep violet shade on the outer corner. I'm always looking for my brush, story of my life, and I'm just gonna take it right there, bring it, let's say about where the iris of my eye, the color of my eye would start or stop, you know, where the circle ends. Going at an angle right there so we get that lift. And now I want to go in with this shade right here. That is super, super pretty. But I noticed that it worked better with my fingers the other day when I was using this, so I will do that. Although, let me try using a brush sprayed down, because that might work okay. And I have these long nails and it makes it kind of difficult to use my finger. Picking up really nicely onto the brush and just plop it down. Oh, okay, good. That is great. Awesome. I can get more precision that way too when I'm able to use a brush. If you want to make a very big statement with this, you can use either that concealer or whatever you like to use to carve out your crease. Do that first and then lay down this shade, and that'll be really nice. But I'm just going to take it today really quick, really simply, and just use itself to carve out a little soft crease. And then make sure to kind of pat that over the shade we just laid down on the outer corner. A little bit more fallout that way when I sprayed with the brush, but when I used my finger, I didn't have an issue. So if my face makeup was already done, then I would probably have to go in with that, but then you're not going to get as solid as above a line, you know. So you kind of tweak it depending on how you're using it, but that is glowy and really pretty. I like that a lot. Okay, loving that. Let me go back in with that little brush and just get... When there's no mirror in the palette though, oh man, it gets me. But I'm gonna go back in and just make sure that's nice and blended on the edge there with that shimmery shade. So now I'm gonna go back in with the same matte shades that I use on top, and I'm just gonna use them on the bottom. So starting with that light violet shade, let's just do a light blend. Actually, let's use this fluffier brush, blend that out and connect the sides, or the corners, I should say. And then going back in with that plum shade and going closer to the lash line, like as close as I can. So I'm basically just deepening up that lower lash line. And then just go blend, blend, blend. Those are blending very nicely, by the way. I definitely think that because these aren't pressed pigments, if you need something super pigmented, then keep that in mind. These do have a beautiful pigment to them, but they're not crazy intense. Like I mentioned, it's not like a Norvina palette because these are actually formulated to be eyeshadows. Now, the good thing about that is you can build up to the intensity that you want more so. Like it's not as deep as that looks right off the bat. You have to build it up to get to that level, but it's a little bit more user-friendly in that way that you can build it up and you can have some more control with it. You're not just like placing your brush down and it's like bam, intense. It's more buildable. And then also because these are not actually pressed pigments, they don't stain your eyelids. At least they didn't stain mine. When I wore this the other day, a lot of purples that are pigments will stain and leave like a pink underneath or something with a little bit of staining, which I don't really mind, but some of you guys do, and I completely understand that. So I didn't personally notice any staining with this, so bear that in mind too if that's something that you are looking for. So I'm going to come back to the eyeshadow palette in a minute for my inner corner, but before I do, I want to do some liner and lashes and all of that. So I'm going to take this Marc Jacobs highliner in the shade Blacker, and I'm just going to run it along the upper waterline And now I'm gonna go in with my liquid liner and I'm just gonna do a little line right on top. Not too intense, but I am gonna do like up a little bit on the corners, but not a wing or anything. Not doing that today. I'm gonna take the NYX pencil. This is actually a lip liner, I believe, but I'm gonna use it on my eye. So user beware, do whatever you feel is right. But this is the Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, definitely a turn on, waterproof extreme color lip liner. It really doesn't need that long of a name, NYX, it really doesn't. But here we are, nonetheless. This is the shade Live-In Pastel. And I'm just gonna take it onto the lower waterline. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara, which is my fave babe, and I'm just gonna slap it on them lashes. That way you can see the eye look before I put on falsies. Now jumping back over to that palette, I'm gonna take this lighter shade right here. It is kind of rosy, so I'm gonna mix it with this one just to make sure it's not too rosy and it's more of that violet feel that we're going for. And I'm just gonna pop it into the inner corner. It makes it a little bit lighter than that shade that we laid down, just a smidgen. Oh, love that. Love that. Okay, I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup look and then I will show you guys what this look looks like before I pop on lashes and then I'll pop on lashes, okay? And here is the look all completed, minus the lashes, of course, so you can see how this looks with just mascara lashes for those of you guys who do not like to wear false lashes and you want to keep it all natural with just a mascara. I think it's still a really gorgeous look, but I always have to take it to the next level. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some falsies. All right, you guys, so this is the completed look, all done officially with the lashes on, and I am really enjoying this look. You guys know I love purple looks. They are one of my favorite and my husband's favorite, I might say. And I'll link everything else that I used down in the description box for you guys to check out. But I do want to say that I used one of my favorite foundations today, and that's actually from Juvia's place, and it's the I Am Magic foundation. Now, I personally feel like this is a very close dupe to my other favorite foundation, which is the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation. The Tarte one is actually a $39 price point, somewhere around there, and this one is $20. So it's about half the price for the similar amount of coverage, full coverage, a same consistency, like a thicker, creamier consistency. The only difference I would say with this one is it's a little bit more matte. So if you like that look, especially going into the summer and you like a full coverage, this is a beautiful foundation. I just love it. And you can see everything else that I paired it with down in the description box, like I mentioned. And then I want to give a shout out to my other favorite palette from them, and that's the Zulu palette. It is a highly pigmented, beautiful, bright palette. You know I love those colorful looks here, and I fell in love with this about a year or so ago. I don't know if this one is a pressed pigment, because I will say it is very pigmented. Look at this purple right there. That is crazy pigmented, and when I used it the very first time, I was just blown away. The oranges, look at that orange. Oh! It's so pretty. So that is the Zulu palette, another fave of mine. I feel like this purple palette, though, going back to the violets palette, is a little bit more user-friendly for violets if you need something that you want to build up. If you need something crazy pigmented right off the bat, you might have to go with something else, but if you want to be able to build it up, if you want something that's a traditional eyeshadow, then that is more along the lines of this. The shimmers are really pretty. Just wet your brush before you use them, but the mattes blend out so nicely, so beautifully, and you can build it up like we talked about. So that is the finished look using the Violets palette from Juvia's place and some of my other favorites from them. I hope that you enjoyed this video and it was informative and helpful for you guys. And don't forget to check out the links down in the description box if you need some more resources on where you can donate, where you can sign petitions that need your immediate action, you can register to vote, and then all of those other things. And then also keep in mind that it is up to us and each individual to actually speak up for change and make sure that we are conscious of the words that we speak and the things that we think, how we interact with our friends and family, people in the grocery store, everybody, to make sure that there is a positive change that happens and that we can rise up and we can learn and we can grow from this. Thank you all so much again for watching today, and I hope that every single one of you have a great, freaking awesome, wonderful, beautiful day.